Hello subscribers, I hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. Today, we'll be taking a look at my most anticipated Mattel Jurassic World Dino Trackers figure, which is the Wild Roar Kronosaurus. It's so satisfying to see more marine reptiles being added to the growing Mattel Jurassic World toy line. This Kronosaurus is not the only one that we're getting for 2023. We're also getting an Elasmosaurus and a Nodosaurus. So, on the day before Thanksgiving, after working out at the gym, I decided to stop by my local Target in hopes of finding more of these Dino Trackers toys. And we all know that on the day before Thanksgiving, stores like Target usually stocks a lot of items so they can prepare for that chaos known as Black Friday. And fortunately, I found 2 of these Kronosaurs as well as 4 of these Diabloceratops sitting on the shelves. So let's take a quick look at the packaging as always. You've got Dino Trackers, the name of the assortment and the animal, Jurassic World logo, render of Velociraptor Blue and Beta, and this time in the top right, we've got an ocean icon. And in the middle, not only do you see an image of how to use the gimmick, but of course there's the ocean background and an oil rig. Right here, Jurassic World logo. On this side, logo once again and Dino Trackers, and another view of the sea background. On the back, instructions on how to add this reptile to your Jurassic World Facts app game, same picture of how to use the action feature, render of the Pliosaur, and right here, the other Wild Roars, the Diabloceratops, Eocarcharia, and Dryptosaurus, which is the one that I need left for this assortment. So let's waste no time and see if this new marine reptile is worth your money. Here is the Kronosaurus out of its cardboard prison, and I have to say, this is a very impressive action figure. This is one Dino Trackers that I was hoping would exceed my expectations. I'll say right now, this blows the Roar Strikers Liopleurodon out of the water. It's an improvement in almost every way. As always, let's take a look at the detailing first. Starting off with the head sculpt, it still looks like that of a Pliosaur, with its narrow, crocodilian-like skull. On the bottom jaw, there's some thick scales, which can also be seen on the underside, though it's a bit more smudged. And strangely, this figure has Fenestra, which is something no Pliosaur had. The teeth are interlocking, which is outdated, but still cool looking nonetheless. The teeth on the upper jaw and the tip of the lower jaw are considerably larger than these teeth. Looking at the interior, we can see a large tongue, and we try to get the light to shine on the upper jaw. There we go. You can see the pterygoid teeth, which is another feature that Pliosaurs don't have. Whoever sculpted this probably confused Pliosaurs and Mosasaurs. Since this is a Jurassic clone, it can be assumed that this individual has some Mosasaur DNA. Throughout the toy, not only can you see the relatively smooth skin, but there's also lots of sculpted barnacles. There's plenty on the skull, the neck, the body, the tail, and both sides of the flippers. They're pretty much everywhere with the exception of the underbelly. The barnacles are not painted, which is understandable given how small they are. I almost forgot to mention the tail fluke, which is actually very large. Moving on to the paint job, which is another reason why I love this figure. The top is a very dark blue, the underbelly is a light sandy yellow, the interior of the mouth is a reddish color, the teeth are white, there's a glossy light blue around the eye itself is yellow with a round black pupil. As I've said before in my other reviews, dark dorsal colors always contrast nicely with these light underbelly colors. This paint job in general is very suitable for a large marine animal like Kronosaurus. And I know that the underbelly doesn't continue down the tail, but it doesn't look as bad since the tail is very short. It doesn't look as bad as, say, the underbelly colors not continuing down the longer tail of a theropod dinosaur. Time for articulation. This Kronosaurus sports 5 moving parts. The tail can move 360, and this type of tail articulation, in my opinion, is pointless. I mean, who's gonna pose it like that? But what's not pointless are the ball-jointed flippers. This feature is one of the reasons why I love Mattel's marine reptiles. You can put them into all sorts of poses, like this, or this, which is my personal favorite position for these sea reptiles. Since this figure is part of the Wild Roar assortment, it's going to have electronic sounds. According to the packaging, it says there's levels of aggression, so it roars when you move the button slightly to the side or all the way to the side. So, here's the slider button that you have to push. The roars seem to be a mixture of some of the Jurassic World herbivorous dinosaurs, I'm assuming the Parasaurolophus, and the deep growls from the Roar Strikers Liopleurodon toy. I can understand the reuse of the Liopleurodon sounds, since deep growls suit marine reptiles like this. But I don't know why they chose the Parasaurolophus sounds, it just doesn't fit this fierce looking sea beast. Let's take out the flexible ruler for some quick measurements. This toy measures about 11.75 inches long. So this figure would fit in the 131 to the 137 scale range, since Kronosaurus is estimated to be around 9 to 11 meters. For the flipper span, it's a little over 7 inches. Unfortunately, this has the same size issues as the Mattel Triceratops, where it's on the smaller side. Kronosaurus was one of the largest pliosaurs, and the least Mattel could have done is put it in the Gigantic Trackers assortment. Starting off with our comparisons, here is the Kronosaurus next to the Roar Strikers Liopleurodon. So putting them side by side, the Kronosaurus is the slightly larger figure, though the Liopleurodon's flippers are much longer. So as I said earlier in the video, the Kronosaurus is the superior figure in pretty much every category: sculpt, detailing, paint job, and proportions. The one advantage of the Liopleurodon is its action feature. I prefer the simple pressing down the button and opening the jaws, mainly because the button is not that visible. From a distance, you can't even tell it's there. The same can be said for the Kronosaurus. This slider button, yeah, it's an eyesore, though thankfully the dark blue coloration on the top kind of hides it. Here are the rest of Mattel's marine reptiles. We've got the Mosasaurus and the Plesiosaurus. This makes me even more excited for the upcoming Elasmosaurus and Nodosaurus. Here are the two variants of the Savage Strike Plesiosaurus. Next, here is the Gigantic Trackers Sinotyrannus. Next, let's bring in some Dominion toys. Here is the Massive Action Quetzalcoatlus, the Roar Strikers Ichthyovenator, the awesome looking Roar Strikers Megaraptor, and the extreme damage Quilmesaurus and Geniodecticeras. Here are two non-dinosaur reptiles, the Sarcosuchus from Primal Attack, and the Dino Escape Tanystropheus. Here is the Camp Cretaceous Extreme Chomping Spinosaurus, which is massive. And here is the stupendous Extreme Damage Roarin' Allosaurus. Next, we have Roland Tembo and some Hammond Collection dinosaurs, the Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Baryonyx. Here are a couple more accurate Kronosaurus models. Here's the Safari Ltd Kronosaurus, the Collecte Deluxe, and lastly, the PNSO Kronosaurus. Let's bring in the stupendous Reborn Tyrannosaurus Rex Kiss. And of course, last but not least, here is the Kronosaurus next to the Collecte Xiphactinus and the Collecte Mini Xiphactinus. Well, there you have it guys. This was my review on the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Trackers Wild Roar Kronosaurus. This is an absolutely wonderful action figure. The sculpt, detailing, colors, and proportions are all great. It's one of my new favorites of the mainline Jurassic World toys. My only issue is the overly sensitive electronics. It just makes sounds whenever you slightly move the button or the head. So, if I had to give this a rating, I'm going to give him a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. If you want it for yourself, you can buy it off of Amazon or purchase it at your local Target, which is where I got mine. So if you guys enjoyed this review, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.